All right, it is 8 o'clock. Let's get after it. I want to make the most of this hour with you guys. This is a big topic tonight. So make sure you get settled in, uh, microphone muted. We're gonna look at some video tonight, so it'll probably come through better if your camera is off. And tonight's topic is running plays. So we're gonna do penalty enforcement, a little more video intensive, and we're gonna dive into the 3-and-1 principle. So before we get into it, Tom, did you want to key us up with anything?
No, no, no. Let's go for it. Our time. We want to stick to that as best we can, and open up for questions at the end.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right, so we've gone over a little bit of penalty enforcement, and we've taught you the terms previous spot and succeeding spot. You know, if we have a live ball foul and it's at the snap, we let it go off, and it's enforced from where we last snapped it, the previous spot. If it's a dead ball foul, it's a false start, it's a shutdown, it's a foul after the play. Uh, we're not going to let the snap get off if it's a false start. We're going to shut it down, and it's going to be enforced at the succeeding spot. So tonight we're coming up on probably one of the most fundamental things of penalty enforcement, and that's the 3-and-1 principle. And I think it trips us up a lot when we try to figure out what exactly are the three and what's the one on any given penalty enforcement. And it just gets confusing. So it may be called the 3-and-1 principle, but I don't want to have us think we need to find 4 spots every time we do a penalty enforcement. So kind of disregard the name of the 3-and-1 principle. And I want you to think of the 3-and-1 principle as like the 2-spot reference point principle. So every penalty that you go to enforce, there's 2 spots you got to find. You got to know the spot of the flag, and then given the play that the foul occurred, you got to find the reference point. And then we compare those 2 spots. So the 3-and-1 principle is really 2-spot comparison tool. Now let me, I'm scrolling through my rule book because we talked last night about play classifications. You guys remember that? So let's look at this real quick. This is what we discussed last night, just very briefly in the definition section of the rule. So now you start to see how definitions are impacting penalty enforcement. And it's got this section right here, play classifications. So during the down, I alluded to this last night, during the down, there could be more than one play. There could be a snap, the quarterback throws it, receiver catches it, he runs with it, he's tackled. I went over this last night. There's a pass portion of that play and there's a run portion of that play. Tonight we're going to go over the running portion, so the run play. And there's a definition for a running play. It's a very specific term that we use as it relates to penalty enforcement. You may have, an idea in your head of what a running play is based on you growing up playing football or having watched football. But when it comes to rules, a running play is a very specific thing, and it's defined right there. It's any live ball action other than a free kick, scrimmage kick, or legal forward pass. So if the kick's not in the air and bouncing on the ground, once it's possessed, that is a running play. If the pass isn't sailing through the air and it's in a player possession, that is considered a running play. So when we're in a running segment of the down, we're going to use running play enforcement, and that'll make a little more sense when we start to put it to diagrams. So we're gonna attack this twofold tonight. We're gonna look at video, as I promised you guys would be a little more video intensive on Thursday nights, and then we're gonna use some pictures to help illustrate this. So, all right, we're gonna go through a basic play of football, and we're gonna diagram this out. and we're going to talk about the 3-and-1 principle, which I've just described to you guys as essentially a spot comparison tool. We're comparing two spots. So let's look at this play here. So we're going to get a run. He's going to bounce it out to the right. You can see our blocker here has got bad position, bad hands, and he restricts him right at the point of attack. All right, so we got a foul there. There's our flags come in, and then our line of scrimmage official gets the end of the run. All right, so we got an end of the run at the 46-yard line. Our previous spot is the 40-yard line, and this umpire is going to move this flag, and he's going to put it where the referee's flag is, right here at the 38-yard line. So right off the bat, let's see how we're doing here, and then see what we need to build, and figure out where do we enforce this penalty. So go ahead and take a shot at this. Is it going to be the previous spot, spot of the foul, end of the run, or the dead ball spot?
It's previous spot.
All right. Well, if you think that, answer the poll. All right, so we hit the 30-second mark. I'm going to end the poll and stop recording answers. So make sure you get your answers in. Monique's taking attendance, and then we cross-reference attendance with participation. You know, this stuff, you know, we want to know who wants this, who's working hard, who's putting the time in, who's showing up and focusing. So we're about 85% on previous spot, which is good. I haven't really explained much so far, and we're already at an 85 percentile. But it also leaves us, you know, quite a bit of room to improve. You know, there's 15 of us or so that are still trying to sort this out, and that's okay, because this is not always intuitive. Although I think they changed the high school rule to match the college rule, so you guys should be a little ahead of this. So, all right, as we break this down, when it comes to a running play, you know, I defined a running play. There's no pass, there's no kick. It's just a run. And when we have a running play and we have a foul by the offense, so listen to me now. We have a running play and we have a foul by the offense. We're going to compare two spots. We're going to compare the end of the run, so 46-yard line, to the spot of the foul. And we use this term time and again on this call. We got a foul by the offense, and we compare the end of the run to the spot of the foul. And we decide we're going to go with whatever hurts them the most. And in this case, when you compare these two spots, it would be most advantageous to the defense. It would hurt the offense the most if we go from the spot of the foul. But as you guys know, we have an exception, because the spot of the foul is behind the previous spot. For holding, we have to enforce it from the previous spot. So that's a rule we got to know pat. We cannot enforce a hold. We cannot enforce a personal foul, an illegal block in the back, an illegal use of hands, or an unsportsmanlike conduct. We cannot enforce those 5 categories of fouls from behind the previous spot in college football. So,
well, let me interject here. I think we're using the same term in the same sentence. Let me say it slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
If we have a foul by the offense behind the line, we enforce on the previous spot. I would not say we have a foul behind the previous spot. You know, that's too much of the same words. So a foul behind the line by the offense is a previous spot enforcement. That's the one. We had 3-and-1. This is the one.
Yeah, that's much simpler. I like that.
We're gonna talk about the other 3 in a minute. He decided to talk about the one, and this is the one. Offense fouls behind the line. We're going to enforce on the previous spot. Take that to the bank. Now, I'm not going to get in the weeds at all right now, but there will be one more exception if a fouls behind the line in their end zone. That's another story. But we're not going to go there tonight.
Right.
That's a safety. Okay.
So, all right, we're off to a good start. And I think the big takeaway here is understanding we have a running play, and then starting to compare spots. Find the end of the run, find the spot of the foul, and then compare those two things. And then we're going to go with whatever hurts them the worst. And if it's a foul behind the line, we're going to enforce it from the previous spot. So we need to write that down. We need to be 100% with that. This is going to happen in every game you referee. There's going to be a holding foul
every game
behind the line of scrimmage. We
now,
need.
Me and Fred did talk about the fact that 3-and-1, you don't want to kind of look at it that way, but then again, that's a language that we're going to use in the game. In the game, we're going to say it's a run play. We got 3-and-1 enforcement, right? We're not going to say reference spot versus that spot. We don't talk that way in the game. We're going to use the term 3-and-1 because 3-and-1 is what we're talking about tonight. This is the one of the three of the four fouls. So understand that on the football field, interchanging communication, it is okay to say 3-and-1 enforcement. We know what that means because we're teaching it right now. Go ahead.
Okay. Monique, if you're having trouble getting in, let me know. I think she might be locked out or something like that. So keep an eye on Monique in the waiting room.
She's locked out?
Something like that. I don't know. She just texted me, but
what she want?
I don't know. We're gonna press on and
okay.
I'm sure she'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right, let's look at another example here. So we're gonna get another running play. This one's gonna come to the bottom of our screen now. All right, so we got our ball carrier and we got our blocker right here, and he's gonna grab the guy at the point of attack and hold him up just enough to give the runner the edge. I can give you an ISO, so you can process the foul. He's got a good grab at him. It's just enough to give him the edge. Yeah. All right, guys. This isn't a segment on holding, so let's not get too bogged down by that. But that's a foul for holding. All right, and now we're in our running play enforcement. We're going to use our 3-and-1 principle. That's what it's called, and Tom's exactly right. We should talk like that. But how we break it down is we're going to start to compare spots. So you're going to look at the end of the run. So the line of scrimmage official is going to finish the play. He's going to get the end of the run. He's going to be at the 34-yard line going in, and then we're going to have a flag at the 38. He probably needs to adjust his flag a little bit. I think the spot of the foul is probably closer to the 44 or 43. That's why you got to adjust your flag. So what we're doing in this case is the same thing we just did last time. So we're comparing the spot of the foul to the end of the run. And because it's by the offense, we're going to do whatever hurts them the worst. So let's see if we can figure this one out, and then I'll explain it a little bit further.
So on this run play, we want to know where is the holding penalty going to be enforced from.
That's right.
We're not going to use yard lines. We're going to use the verbiage in a game verbiage, not the spot necessarily. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because while you guys are chiming in there, because in the game, we're going to put a ball down at the dead ball spot. We know where the flag is. You adjust your flag before you go report. We also know where the previous spot was because that's where the down box is. So we know the three spots from the down box, the flag, and the ball on the ground. We know those three spots. So where do we enforce from?
That's right. So, the results of the poll, great job, guys. We're at 94%. So we're already making improvement from our first poll here. And this is exactly what we want to see. So if you want to think about it like this, we're gonna give the offense every yard they gained legally. So up until this point where the holding occurs, they got all those yards legally, and then beyond that, it's ill-gotten gains. They got it unfairly. So once again, we're comparing spots. Spot of the foul is behind the end of the run, so we're gonna go from the spot of the foul, and in this case, the spot of the foul is beyond the line of scrimmage. So we don't have to mess around with the previous spot. Everything is beyond the line of scrimmage here. Run goes beyond and the foul is beyond. We don't have to worry about the previous spot. You just compare the end of the run to the spot of the foul for the offense, and whatever hurts them the most, that's what we're going to go with.
Okay, that's one of the three. Okay.
Yeah, so we showed an example of behind the line of scrimmage. Now we showed an example of beyond the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
Let's look at another one here. All right, we're going to get another run to the bottom of the screen. He's going to run downfield, and he's going to get face masked right there. So our runner's downfield. He gets face masked by the defense, and he's tackled at 16-yard line. So the foul, say the foul occurs at the 20-yard line, and he runs out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Flags come flying in from everywhere. All right, so we got a foul by the defense. Where are we going to enforce this one? All right, we got 100 plus respondees. It's pretty good. And once again, we're at the 94 percentile mark. It's very good. I'd like to get to 100. Especially it's a pretty straightforward foul. Yeah, there's this should be 100, but maybe we clicked the wrong button. But we're gonna sort it out. We're gonna talk it out. So
well, we didn't tell them what the answers were ahead of time. The 3 and 1, we didn't tell them what they were, but you're going through it now.
Yeah, so we're kind of learning on the fly.
Okay.
Let me get some people talking here. Sorry, Ramon Huff. Are you out there, Ramon?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you help me out with this one, Ramon? What was your thinking on this? So we had our flag at the 20-yard line. Our run ended at the 16-yard line. How are you breaking this down?
Yes. We got the foul at the 20-yard line, the face mask, the personal foul. Then he gains another 4 yards. We're not going to penalize the offense for the yards they gained. So we're going to tack on the foul at the end of the where he stepped out of bounds at. Tack on.
That's great job, Ramon. You use the right word, and you'll notice that Mr. Simonet, he's very critical of the words and the language we use, because it helps with communication on the football field, especially under pressure and especially to get it done efficiently. So here's the principle, and Ramon's all over it. When we have a foul by the defense, it's going to be a tack on. We're gonna tack it on to the end of the run. So if it's a foul by the defense during a running play, and the run ends beyond the line of scrimmage, we're gonna tack it on. So in this case, we're going to give the offense everything they got, and then the defense committed a foul, so then we're going to add that on top. And in this case, we're at the 16-yard line, so we're going to go half the distance.
He used the correct words. Tack on. Tack on means a lot. You hear that phrase, that means be foul, and we're going to add it on to the dead ball spot. That's what that means to me. If I hear that in a game, we're going to tack it on. So if you're going to say tack it on, it must be what you mean also. We're going to add it on, tack it on to the dead ball spot for B fouls.
Right.
We don't use tack on when the offensive foul. You won't hear it that way. Tack on means defensive fouls.
So yeah, we're going to enforce it from the end of the run. I see a message in the chat saying, wouldn't it be the end of the related run?
That's getting technical now.
Yeah, we're going to keep it simple right now. We're going to get to that aspect in a second. I saw, Larry, you had a question up, then you put your hand down. Are you good, Larry? I want to make sure you're...
Yeah, I was asking if it will be the end of the related run. So that's what I was asking as well.
Yeah, that's definitionally correct. That's technically the correct term, but I want to keep things very, very basic, and then we'll build up from there. We'll get to, what do we do with a foul while the ball is loose during a fumble? or what do we do if there's multiple runs? So a run, a fumble, a recovery, and a run again. All
That's what that
stuff.
means. That the related run is related to fumbles on a run play. So we're not there yet.
Yeah. So I appreciate you guys wanting to sprint. And I know a lot of you guys, can take off sprinting and run right through this stuff. You guys got it down pat, but it's good to just go back and build the foundation from scratch, get really solid on the fundamentals, the proper terms. And then there's a lot of us that just need to hear the basics in a very simple way without muddying the waters, without, getting our brains all cloudy. All right. Good job, Ramon. All right. Let's look at another one here. So we're gonna have another run. Gonna go beyond the line of scrimmage, and you can see what happens to our runner there. He gets grabbed by the nameplate and the knees buckle. So that hand's on the collar, the back collar, the nameplate. He is horse collar tackled to the ground. All right, so the next name I have for somebody want to help me out is Keon. Keon Sales, are you out there?
I think he sent me a note. He's not. He has some issues. He may not be on.
Okay, that's cool. Drew Ford. What about you, Drew?
There.
Yay. Thanks, Drew. I appreciate you coming off mute and help me out here. So, all right, just break it down for me. We got a run play. We got a foul by the defense. How are we sorting this out? We're going to throw a flag for a horse collar foul here. Everybody wants a piece of this one. Flags come flying.
So just like the last play, we're going to give the offense what they earned.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to tack on for the horse collar tackle from the end of the run. And so
Perfect.
It'll be 15 yards. Yeah.
All right. Great job, Drew. All right. Now I'm going to throw a little, what if at you. All right.
Yes, sir.
So let's say he hands the ball off right here. And then let's say he runs, I'll give you the line of scrimmage. The line of scrimmage is 36-yard line.
Yes,
all right. Let's say he runs the ball, stays behind the line of scrimmage, and then he's horse collar tackled behind the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
How are we handling that one?
We're going to go from the previous spot.
Okay. Why is that?
Because it was a foul behind the line of scrimmage.
That's perfect. Okay. That's great, Drew. You're all over it. That's exactly how we're going to do it. So here we go, guys. We're breaking this down into very simple bite-sized pieces, principles that you can take home. All right. We went over a couple examples of a foul by the defense on a run that ends beyond the line of scrimmage. So the run gains yards and the defense fouls. In that case, we're going to tack it on. Just add it to the end of the run. Here's the other piece you need to know. Say we got to run by the offense. This is the what if I just explained with Drew. If he's tackled behind the line of scrimmage, the run ends behind the line of scrimmage. In that scenario, we go to the previous spot and we enforce it from the previous spot.
I don't think there's any fouls anymore. I may be wrong, but I may be thinking too hard here. We don't enforce fouls from behind the line anymore.
There's like 4 of them.
Those are called spot fouls if we do.
Yeah, it's like batting and intentional ground.
But so generally, that if there's a foul that's behind the line, is a previous spot enforcement. Even if the offense foul, we go to the previous. Long years ago, we used to enforce from the spot of the foul behind the line. That's all gone pretty much.
Right.
For tonight's discussion, just getting your head, a foul behind the line by either team is previous spot enforcement.
There you go. All right. So
I'm talking about loud ball fouls, not the spot fouls, like intentional grounding. Those kind of things are different. We're talking about just the routine fouls that are not spot fouls. The term spot foul is very important in that we're not talking about 3-and-1 anymore. So we're trying to get you to understand we're talking about one aspect of a run play. And these are typical things that we have in every football game. You got to know where to come from and where to go to. But fouls behind the line by either team, most times it's previous spot enforcement without any funky stuff going on. We'll teach funky stuff later on.
That's right. All right, let's look at another one here. We're gonna get another run play. This foul is gonna occur right here in the interior line, so we need help from our umpires here. You're gonna see the left tackle and the left guard. They're gonna do a high-low on this defensive tackle here. We're gonna have a run play. Run gains 6 yards. We got a flag down behind the line of scrimmage. Let's see how we guys handle this. All right, this is great participation, guys. I'm really encouraged by this. We're right at the 30-second mark. We're hitting 100 plus respondees. Very good. We should get 112 out of 112, but we're at like 91%. So good. All right, so we're down a little bit. We're at 88% here. There's still 12 of us. They're just a little crossed up here, but let's just go back to our basic principles that we talked to at the top. So we got a run play. The offense is running with the ball. We're figuring out where the end of the run is. So we know where that spot is. So our line of scrimmage official's coming down. He's getting the spot, and then he's going to put a ball at his feet, and he's going to mark the end of the run. And we all know we're gonna use 3 and 1 on this enforcement. So we need to figure out where the foul is. So we're going to look at the end of the run and compare the spot of the foul. In this case, the spot of the foul is behind the line of scrimmage. So when we have a foul by the offense behind the line of scrimmage, we go previous spot. You know, Tom just said that. There's a foul behind the line of scrimmage. In almost all circumstances, it's going to be enforced from the previous spot. When you get those very crazy, unique circumstances, you know, make sure you got that rules guru on your crew that can help you out with those. We're going to get you there so that you're the rules guru on the crew. But until then, let's go with a foul behind the line of scrimmage is enforced from the previous spot by the offense. If the offense commits a foul behind the line of scrimmage, it's going to be enforced from the previous spot. This foul was by the defense behind the line of scrimmage, it would be a tack on. We would tack it on to the end of the run. I'm giving you the solution to the 3 and 1 principle to try and make it easier for you guys. All right, I think I have one more play dialed up. And this is one we're gonna see on test questions, and it's gonna cause a little bit of consternation. But we need to start the process of figuring this out because this stuff does happen in games. So quarterback's going to drop back, and then he's going to take off running. What's going to happen is we got this defender right here guarding this receiver, and he's gonna hook him. He's going to hook him. He's going to hold him. So we're going to have a foul for defensive holding because the quarterback's still behind the line. He's still potentially a passer. So we got a hold by the defense, and the quarterback takes off and runs and gains yards. So I want to break this down very simple for you guys. All right. Remember our definition of a run play. There is no pass. There is no kick. It's just a run. So we're going to use run play enforcement. We're going to see the foul, look back, find the status of the ball, and then decide if it's a foul or not. It's a foul. Flag's on the ground, and we're doing our basic run play 3 and 1 enforcement. Find the end of the run, find the spot of the foul, figure out who the foul's on, and then what do we do? See how we do on this one. Yeah, I got the wrong poll. Yeah, it's not a clock status. Here we go. Okay.
You want to get rid of the clock question?
It should be spots of enforcement. That's what.
We just got to do it again. Do it again.
Okay. All right. We'll reset it, guys.
Okay.
My fault. There we go. It's coming now. Good. Okay. Now you guys can answer spot of enforcement. So where is this penalty being enforced? Oh, okay. I got you, Monique. All right. So we're at 85%, which, I'm pretty encouraged by that, because this is one that, just because of the way this play breaks out, it tends to confuse us a little bit. And I want to try and make this as simple as possible. And there's other elements that go into this, and it has to do with how we teach how you call this foul. And that can kind of make it confusing, but I'm going to stay off of that part right now and just focus on the fact that we had a run by the offense. It went beyond the line to gain, and we got a foul by the defense. So Jordan Towns, talk to me here. So we got a run that gained yards, and then we got a foul by the defense. How are we breaking this out?
Okay, so we have a run that ends beyond the line of scrimmage.
Mhm.
The foul is beyond the spot, the end of the run, as
Mhm.
a foul by the defense. So we're going to tack this on to the end of the run.
That's right. Very good. Yeah. So we need to, with this play happened, this past week. I'm sure it happened in, Monique's game too. This will happen in your game. You're going to have a foul for defensive holding. And the first question the referee asked on Saturday when this happened was, did the quarterback, did he gain yards? Did the run go beyond the line of scrimmage? If the run goes beyond the line of scrimmage, it's going to tack it on from the end of the run. What happens, Jordan, if that quarterback got tackled in the backfield? What would you do in that situation?
If he gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage, then we're going to enforce from the previous spot.
Bingo. That's perfect. Yep, because the run ended behind the line. So if the run ends behind the line, we're not going to enforce this penalty from behind the line. We're not going to enforce it from the spot of the foul. It's got to be the previous spot. So when the run ends behind the line, or the foul's behind the line, most often we're going to enforce it from the previous spot.
Let me throw one curveball in here. We got a foul at the 40. Let's put that flag on the 40 for the DH.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the runner being down at the 50, let's say he goes down to the 30. He runs beyond the spot of the foul. Somebody help me with that.
All
the
right.
run ends at the 30. The foul's at the 40.
Let's say this quarterback juked this guy and he got tackled all the way down here, and our flag's back here. So
Yes.
How about Lincoln McCray? Lincoln, you out there? Finding your mute button, Lincoln. I see you're still muted, so maybe you're having some technical difficulties. All right, Mike Newby. How about you, man? Can you help us?
Can you repeat that one more time?
All right, we got a same play scenario right here. The foul is at the 40-yard line. You can see the flag at the 40. But this time the runner ran all the way down to the 30-yard line. He's way down here, beyond the flag. What do you do in that situation?
So the run ended beyond the foul. So I believe we tacked that on.
That's right. It's very good, Mike. It's the same principle. If we have a run that ends beyond the line of scrimmage and we have a foul by the defense, we're going to tack it on.
Okay.
Is that every time, guys? I just threw that in because I thought it'd be interesting to see if you guys would change your mind. It doesn't really matter, other than the fact that the run ended beyond the line. Automatically, B's foul, you want to tack it on. Just take that to the bank. Okay.
All right. So, you know, this is we're good when we can see it on the field. I think the visuals of seeing it on the field, being on the field, watching it with a field diagram on the screen, I think that's easier for us. But unfortunately, a lot of what we do to test your knowledge is to look at it in words. So I want to see where you guys stand with going through a couple questions. But before we do that question, we'll answer a question from Ryan Lewis. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah. So if we're not using the terminology end of the related run, then what's the difference between the end of the run and the dead ball spot?
Oh, now, let me answer that question. The end of the run is where the player is deemed dead, either going out of bounds or down by contact. If it's going to be something other than that, it's because he lost the ball, and the dead ball spot could be somewhere else. In that he fumbled it, another player gets it and runs with it. He fumbles it, goes out of bounds. Now the dead ball spot and in the run could be different in that case. So when you had that one question before about tagging on to the related run, well, while the guy's running with the ball, somebody fouls. He loses it and somebody else gets it and runs with it. Well, we can only tack on B's foul to the end of the first fumble. The second guy running is not the related run. You're getting a little technical with me right now, but I answered your question. But that's how you can have two different spots. Dead ball spot and end of related run is because somebody lost the ball. We're not there yet.
Yeah, I appreciate the question, Ryan, and I can tell a lot of you guys want to take this to the next level and really dig into the details. And
well, we'll get into it, but you guys got to be a little bit patient because the audience that we have is some brand new people who hear this for the first time. So you experienced people, sit tight. We're gonna get to you and make it more complicated, or because the game becomes more complicated, you'll be able to enrich your knowledge. So hang on a little bit. We'll answer the question as necessary, but right now we don't want to get too deep in that with new people.
Very good.
Me and Fred, are you done with your segment? I need to summarize, unless you want to summarize.
Yeah, if you want to give a summary, I figured we'd look at some.
Okay, let me summarize that. 3-and-1 enforcement, or the principles of 3-and-1. I'm going to give you the 3 and the 1. The first one is we went over it, but I'm going to put it into a concise way. A is running with the ball. Someone has to be running with the football in their possession. It's a run play. Now, one thing that I've seen people do is the quarterback drops back in a passing posture, and he gets tackled. Some people want to make that a pass play because it was a passing situation. So don't get confused with that. That's one thing. Somebody with the football in their hands, either standing or running with it, it's a run play. So get that into your heads right now. Until the ball's in the air, we still have a run play. Until the ball's fumbled, we still have a run. So don't get beyond what we're talking about right now. Someone has the football in their hands and they're running with it or they're standing still. Now, if the A fouls during this run segment and the foul is behind the dead ball spot, we're going to enforce on the spot of the foul. If the foul is behind the line, we're going to go previous spot. That's one of the 3. A fouls behind the dead ball spot. That's one of them. Another one would be the run ends beyond the line. B fouls. You're going to tack it on. Run beyond the line. A fouls ahead of the dead ball spot. I think I already get that. That'd be spot of the foul. Let's put it in reverse. The run ends behind the spot of the foul. We didn't talk about that one, actually. A runs, let's say it's 50-yard line. A runs to the B20. And the foul is at the B30. We know we're going to go from the spot of the foul, right? From the 30 to the 40. Let's reverse that. The run ends at the 30, but the foul's at the 40. the foul is somewhere else. We take the one that hurts them the most. He used that phrase before. So it could be you can enforce from the spot of the foul or the dead ball spot. It's for A fouls. No one can ever have an enforcement on a run play behind the line, enforcement behind the line. A run play behind the line, and the dead ball is behind the line, we go previous. Any foul behind the line by either team on a run play is previous spot enforcement. Just make that easy for yourself. That's the one. The other three relate to fouls and dead ball spots beyond the line. You tack it on for B fouls. You go from A's spot of the foul, or you go from the dead ball spot for A. It just depends on which is worse for A. Those are the three, and the one is behind the line. The one is fouls behind the line, and in most cases, I'm thinking out loud here now, if the dead ball spot and the foul's behind the line, we're going to go previews. If the run ends beyond the line and the foul's behind the line, we go previews. There should be no foul that you would enforce from the spot of the foul behind the line, except for spot fouls. We're not talking about that. That's the one. The other three are fouls by A and B beyond the line. Does anybody have any? Did I say it clear enough, or do I need to do it again?
Well, let's put some pictures to it, because I think that probably helps as well.
Okay.
So, exactly what Tom said here, and we're just going to diagram it in a different way. So you're going to have a run play here. He's going to run and he's going to gain yards beyond the line. So now we're going to have a foul. And in this case, the foul is by the offense. When we talk about the 3-and-1, this is the one. This is the one instance where it's enforced from the spot of the foul. And by that, I mean if A fouled at the 50-yard line, they fouled way up here, it would be enforced at the end of the run, because we wouldn't give A all that yardage and then mark it back from here. That doesn't make any sense. If they fouled way up here, it would be enforced at the end of the run. If the defense fouled way down here, say there's an unnecessary roughness blindside block way down here, and the run ended here, that foul by the defense way down here, it would be enforced from the end of the run. A didn't gain all these yards, so we're not going to give them all those yards. We're going to give them what they gained, and then we're going to foul by the defense beyond. We're going to tack it on. That's another one of the three. If this foul is by the defense right here, and the run ends beyond the foul, so we're going to give A everything they gained legally, and then we're going to tack it on. We saw that on video. So essentially, what Tom's saying is there are three instances. The defense fouls beyond the end of the run. The defense fouls behind the end of the run. In that case, you tack it on. If the offense fouls beyond the end of the run, you go back to the end of the run and you enforce it from there. If the offense fouls behind the end of the run, you enforce it from the spot of the foul. So I'm gonna share these slides with you guys all again in Monique's Google Drive folder, so you can go back and review some of this stuff, because I know it can be a little tricky. And once you get the basics down, then we start adding exceptions, and it can get a little confusing, like what we've gone over tonight. So if the offense fouls behind the line of scrimmage, that's enforced from the previous spot. If this was a defensive foul behind the line of scrimmage, it would still be a tack on, because defensive fouls are enforced from the end of the run. We tack them on.
I want to interject here now. In the game, I can see how what we're saying here could be confusing. You have to use the right lingo for us to figure out what you're saying. If you got a flag on the ground, I'm across the field, I don't have to know if the flag is good or not. I can only tell about the enforcement for what you say. So one of the things that we have to do in the game is say, when did the foul occur? We have to know when. So if the foul occurred while we had a runner, then we have a run play enforcement. If you say we got a foul by so-and-so and never say when, then we don't know how far to put it in. tonight's hopper is a run play hopper. So we have to recognize first, we see a foul, where's the football? You got to get that in your head. If we don't do anything for this whole segment of this preseason discussion, you have to say, when did the foul occur? You have to say it every time. Because if you say it, then we know what the hopper is. We know it's 3-and-1 enforcement. You just can't say holding by the offense and then leave it at that. Was it doing when the ball was loose? Was it doing the pass? Was it doing the kick? Or was it doing a run? It helps us to get this 3-and-1 stuff down pat. Because if I'm in the game on the other side of the field, I come over and hear you guys talking, and I don't hear when the foul occurred, I can't help you. So what I'm going to say, well, when did it occur? You want to say it's going to occur when he was running with the ball. In my mind now, it's 3-and-1 enforcement. I look at the field. I see the dead ball spot. The ball's on the ground. I see the previous spot for where the ball was snapped with the down box. I see the flag on the ground. I got 3 spots to work from. And who fouled? A or B? The defense. Okay, we're going to tack on to that dead ball spot. It's really simple as that. A fouled. Well, where's their foul? It's behind the dead ball spot. It's forced from the spot of the foul. If A fouls and the foul is beyond the dead ball spot, then we enforce from the dead ball spot. It's really simple as that. In the game, you have to work it just that quick, though. It's not a rush situation. It's just understanding what the spots are. 3-and-1 is a pain in the ass because it's too many variations of it. But then again, it's B fouling, we're going to tag it on. It's A fouling, then we're going to give them the worst scenario. It's simple as that, guys. I think he's done a good job in showing you videos. We got diagrams. I think he's going to do some questions in a minute. But that's how simple it is. That's how you have to function in a football game. Now, if somebody gets crossed up in a game, it does happen because we're not saying what we're supposed to say. Someone on the crew needs to get the pieces. And the pieces are, we got a run play, dead ball spot, spot of the foul, previous spot. From there, we can easily figure out what to do. And there are times when we may want to decline the damn penalty. After all that shit, we may say, well, damn, we're going to decline it. Let's go to touchdown. Or A, foul up front, and then B, intercepts the ball. Sometimes it doesn't really matter. But when it does matter, the enforcement spot is critical that we understand the pieces. Does anybody have any questions at this point? It's really that simple, but I can understand why it's confusing to a lot of you guys. Fred, you got some more test questions or anything?
Yeah, we got some test questions we can kind of work through, because this is like I said, it's another skill. You know, we can kind of do it when we got diagrams and a field and a football, but you know, can we break down words on paper? And we got to be good at that, whether we like it or not. So I'm gonna kind of coach you guys through this and explain to you how we break this down. So let's look at this first one. We got A first and 10 at the A30. So right away, I'm picturing the A30 in my mind on the football field. I'm gathering spots. I'm gathering reference points. So
we're on the short end of the field. Just imagine being on the one end of the field.
That's right. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. So we're at the 30, and then the running back, A32, he runs the ball to the 45-yard line. So right away, before I read anything else, I'm comparing 30-yard line. Okay, he's gained 15 yards. So now I'm seeing a run where it goes for 15 yards. And he's tackled there. All right, simple enough. We got a run that gains 15 yards. That's a great play. Now we got A55 is flagged for holding at the A25. So I'm immediately going into comparing these different spots. So I got the previous spot, I got the end of the run, I got the spot of the foul. You got a foul by the offense, and it's behind the previous spot. So Jonathan Troop, you raised your hand. We're going to have you answer this. Can you answer this, and then I'll answer your question?
Yes, sir. I would definitely. When he had the 820 for offensive holding behind the line of scrimmage. The spot is going to be the line of scrimmage, which was the previous spot.
All right, so I got most of that. I think we heard you pretty right. So
I think he said we're going to force 10 yards from the previous spot.
yeah, okay, very good. And
That's correct.
yep.
And forgive me, Medium Fred. I just crossed the Georgia line headed into Florida, but I'm not driving. My wife's driving.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, no driving and answering questions.
No, you said the right stuff. The foul's behind the line. So we're going to force from the previous spot. That is correct.
Good job. And Phil Woolard, you got it in the chat as well. That's good. All right, let's knock through a couple of these. These are practice. We're practicing for our test next Tuesday. So here we go again. 1st and 10 at the 20. Again, I'm gathering yard lines. I'm picturing stuff on the field. 20-yard line. We're backed up. Running back. He runs the ball to the 45 again. So he gains a lot of yards this time. 25 yards, way downfield. He's tackled there. Now we got A98. This is flagged for holding at the A47. All right, I see Larry's hands up. Do you want to take this one, Larry? Is that why your hand's up? No, Larry, you don't want to answer this one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you want to answer this one?
Yes, sir. We have the run that ends at the 45. The penalty was at the 47, which is in front of the end of the run. So therefore, we're going to enforce from the end of the run because they've legally gained those yardage. So we'll take 10 yards from the 45. It'll be 1st down and 10 at the 35 with the clock on ready.
There you go, Larry. Good job. It's not easy breaking this down in front of 114 people, and you did a very good job.
That was good. The only thing I want you to improve on was you said a foul's in front of another spot. We don't use in front of. In this case here, the foul was beyond the dead ball spot or something like that. Okay. The only criticism I have is you said something in front of.
Yeah, it's the common terms we use. The foul is beyond the end of the run.
But that was a good job, though, getting that. That was you had the right mindset. It's not hard if you understand what he just went through there. You got another play?
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. All right. So a little longer one. That can be intimidating, but we're gonna hang in there. We got this. So 1st and 15 at the 20. Again, I'm picturing where we're at. And sometimes in these questions, they'll throw in clock information, and it may not be important. You're in the middle of the 3rd quarter. It's likely not all that important. If it was 2 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, timing might be a factor. But you get these questions, they'll throw in clock information, sometimes just to slow you up a little bit. But process that. It may not have anything to do with this question. Go back to the basics. Figure out where we are on the field. We're on the 20-yard line. So we got a defender, B98. He's flagged for holding an eligible receiver. So we have defensive holding. So B98 is called for defensive holding as he was running a pass route at the A25-yard line. So right away, I'm comparing this spot to the line of scrimmage. So 5 yards downfield, we have a flag down for defensive holding. What's the result of the play? What happened on this play? So we have the quarterback is sacked at the A15. So it's a running play. He never threw the ball. Nowhere in this question does they say he threw the ball. He threw the ball. He's sacked for a 5-yard loss. So right away, I've collected all my spots. I got line of scrimmage. I got spot of the foul. I got the end of the run. And I got a foul on the defense. Now I'm going through and I'm applying all the stuff we talked about tonight. So Corey King. What's up, Corey? You said defensive hold. Help us out, Corey. How do we enforce this DH?
So we're going to take this DH from the previous spot since the quarterback was sacked behind the line of scrimmage, and we're going to go 10 yards from there, and it's going to be an automatic 1st down.
Beautiful, Corey. Great job.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
So we had a run that ended behind the line of scrimmage. So if we got a foul by the defense and the run ends behind the line of scrimmage, we go back to the previous spot and we enforce it from there. And Corey was all over it. It's a 10-yard penalty, and it's an auto 1st for defensive holding. Very good. All right, let's see what we got left here. I want to pick a couple good ones. We got 5 minutes left. I don't want to do the middle one. Let's finish up with this last one here, and then we'll wrap it up. So keep things very simple.
So make that last one. The quarterback is in a passing posture. He's trying to look down the field to pass. He's in a passing posture. He's trying to throw the ball down the field.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So it's 1st and 10 at the A25. So picture
and,
it A25.
And also, let's say that he's tackled by the face mask at A19 while he's trying to throw the ball.
Okay. So he's at the 25-yard line, and now picture your quarterback, your Morehouse quarterback. He's dropping in the pocket, he's hitching in the pocket, and he's cocking his arm. It's starting to come back, and then a defender comes in and grabs him by the face mask and yanks him to the ground. Tackles him by the face mask. So, I want to launch a poll, and then we'll have DJ. We'll have you answer this, DJ, because I saw your hand shot up first. So let's see how we do as a group on this one. We've had some really great individual efforts. Let's see collectively how we handle this. Oh man, I'm like smiling ear to ear here. This is fantastic.
We had never seen that before.
All right, we're at 30 seconds. I'm gonna stop it right here.
That's good.
So
Just stop it there.
DJ, talk us through it.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
So we have a roughing the passer. It'll be 15-yard penalty from the end of the run or dead ball spot. Automatic first down.
Okay. I like where you're going with this, but we gotta clean it up a little bit. So first things first is, in the question, take everything at face value. If it doesn't say the passer was roughed, don't try to add on roughing the passer. In this case, he was just tackled by the face mask. So if all the question says is he was tackled by the face mask, just go with that. Don't think you need to add more on or take some away.
That's why I add this question in there. See, we want to make this a pass play. That's why I made it in a passing situation. See, he went roughing the passer. It's not roughing the passer because he didn't throw the ball.
Right. So in this case, he was just a runner, and he was FMM'd. He was face masked. He got tackled by the face mask. So, if you strip all the complications away and break it down to its most simple aspects, you have a run play. It ended behind the line of scrimmage, and you got a foul by the defense.
Oh, then it'll be previous spot, 15-yard penalty.
That's exactly right. There you go, DJ. So that's what happens is, the game is not exactly, perfectly scripted as it's written in the rule book. It's got these little variations and complications. The quarterback looks like he's going to throw it, and then he gets tackled by the face mask behind the line. Well, there was no throw. There was no pass. So it's a run play. So we just do our run enforcement. We use our run hopper. That's what we gave you guys tonight. We gave you the running play hopper. When you got a run play, you go into this hopper and you break it out like we went through tonight, and you get to the penalty enforcement. Offense runs behind the line of scrimmage, foul by the defense, previous spot, and we are off, and we go. So we had a 97% correct on that last one. That was fantastic.
I thought it was 100% when I looked at it.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Right at 8:59, 9 o'clock. We'll wrap it up with any questions, and we'll set you guys up for next week. We're gonna have a test on Tuesday, even though Monday's a holiday, Memorial Day. We still got to come back Tuesday sharp, ready to go. Test on Tuesday is going to be on Rule 2, so definitions. Plus, I can go back and I can grab anything from Rule 1 since we've already covered it. I can grab anything from fouls at the snap, fouls before the snap. But primarily on Tuesday, we're going to focus on running plays and definitions. So you guys should spend your time over the weekend, Monday night, Tuesday during the day, during your lunch break, during your coffee break, reading case plays, reading Rule 2, and reviewing running play enforcement.
Seriously though, this, as I said, this is not complicated. But then again, if you're new to it, it is complicated. You guys have been around a while. Heard me talk about this year after year. It's the same discussion. It hadn't changed. This particular type foul is kind of the same in every league, every level. It's 3-and-1 stuff. If I need to say it again, don't be afraid to say I didn't hear it again until you get it. Sometimes on the football field, it's a little easier because you see the spots. Spot of the foul, the dead ball spot, in the previous spot. You see them on the field. That's why it's important to put the flag down in the proper spot. That's why it's also important to put a dead ball on the ground, and the down box should not move yet. Even if you don't know what the hell's going on, when I'm in the stands watching the game, I can do penalty enforcement. I can see the prelim from the official, and I see these spots on the ground. I know before he makes his announcement is where we're going because I recognize those spots instinctively. That's how good you guys got to get. And you other folks who are not involved in the penalty enforcement, you should be doing the same thing. You see the spots, you see the referee's announcement, you hear the referee's announcement, you can see the signals, you can see the prelim, you can see a lot of things. So if we enforce wrong, you other 7 or 8 guys who can be 8, the other 5 or 6 who stand around, you should verify what we have makes sense. One example that I'll give, when the referee has holding, he throws a flag inside there in the button in the flag. Let's say the center is grabbing the nose guard and tackles the guy at the line of scrimmage. It's a foul. Referee throws. The flag bounces and goes beyond the line. And you hear him say, holding on the center number 65, you would say, hey, why did we enforce where the spot of the foul was? Well, it's because the referee didn't move his flags. What happened? So you guys who are watching the game ought to know his flag was somewhere else, but we enforced something else. You need to recognize that. Because if you enforce from the spot of the foul, which is 1 yard beyond the line of scrimmage, then we're going to be off a little bit. It's probably a previous spot enforcement, not a spot of the foul situation. So if the flag's not moved, we could be in the wrong spot. So it's important, 1, to put your flag where it belongs. Number 2, recognize where the spot of the foul is in relation to the dead ball spot and also the previous spot. From there, it's not hard. Who foul, A or B? Offense or defense? Going to tack it on for B fouls. We're going to subtract A if they foul. You have to make this not complicated because it's not. If it's new to you, I get that. But you got to make it easy for yourself. If we need to go over it again, we will go over it again. This is going to happen in every football game across America. Pop Warner all the way to the NFL. This stuff happens in every football game. I believe the enforcements are nearly identical. It's not much difference there. Behind the line, maybe a little different. But pretty much it's the same. So when you came out of high school or wherever you came from, new to me, it shouldn't be that much different. Now, I know that where you come from, high school, we let the referee figure all this shit out for you. He does all the talking and he does all the announcements and all that kind of crap. You guys tell me I got hold on number 65, you walk away. In college football and above, you cannot walk away. You tell them what you got, who did it and where, and when. He's going to repeat back what he heard. You're going to say, yeah. He's going to then tell you enforcement. Referee's going to tell you enforcement. We got a foul during a run plays, 3-and-1 enforcement. We're going 10 yards from the spot of the foul, 2nd down. If you don't like what he said, or if he said it wrong, or you gave him wrong information, it's that time is when you fix it. He's going to repeat what you said before he makes his announcement. So you guys who are just either report the foul or just standing by, listen in to what they're saying. And you will help the crew not make a mistake in penalty enforcement. We have complete control over penalty enforcement. The ball didn't bounce funny and none of that kind of crazy crap. We have the pieces. So you come in, win, and what and where and who, and we'll get it right. Does anybody have any questions? Anything about anything we talked about last week, this week, or whatever? Any questions? I'm working on crews right now. I got them penciled in pretty good. It's worse than I thought it would be in that we have more brand new people who never did college football before is going to be in our games. I had that many people get promoted, injuries, whatever. We have open spots now, and the best I have in some cases are people who I just seen here recently in camps. So you folks that are new, you'll know the time comes when you're assigned to a crew, but you never know when you're gonna be needed. So it's imperative that even though you're new to me, new to college football, you gotta get this stuff down pretty quick. You're the best I have right now. We can't have you half cocked, not in that you're gonna make a mistake. It's that you half cocked in your preparation. Preparation means you got to study this stuff over and over and over again, and some more, and again and again. It's not enough at this level to take a break. You have to do it often. So you got to keep up. So next week we talk about something else. We're going to talk about, I don't know what he got for next week, but 3-1, the bed, not the bed. We're going to do something else next week. So if you don't have 3-1 enforcement in your head by next Tuesday or so, we need to have a conversation. Either call me, you call me and Fred, you can call Madam Secretary, you can call these veteran referees, call somebody to help you bridge the one tricky thing that's funny to you to get it over the hump here. Now, you guys are trying to go to that related run, you can call me and Fred, Madam Secretary, so we can help you. If you won't be that advanced that quickly, we can help you too. But right now, the basics is what we need to focus on. The audience is big enough where in football games, we can't have failure in 3-1 enforcement. It's going to happen. We cannot have failure with fouls at the snap. It's too simple. We cannot have fouls prior to a snap. It's too simple. But you know, if you're not paying attention and doing your homework, you can screw them up. You know something? The most simplest mistake you make, 1 yard off, clock screwed up, wrong down, or whatever. A team can lose because we didn't perform. We cannot have that. We cannot cause the wrong team to win or lose. So our part is to prepare. Our part is to perform, help each other. Crew. If you don't like something, you can add points for me by coming and asking. Even if you're wrong, come in there. This don't feel right. Or where do we come from? When did it occur? You ask those questions. Or what did he do? Was it big enough? Do we want that today? I mean, you can ask those kind of questions to improve the game. There's going to be more new people in our games now. They're going to throw fouls that we don't want. They're going to miss fouls that we do want. You veteran people need to pay attention now. You got to help out. Do your job first, help others second. But you new folks, Madam Secretary should have talked to you about going to the drive for training tapes. I did 49 training tapes in the MEAC. I think they're still out there. I talk about everything from the chain crew to spots of the foul and formations, all that kind of crap. It's all in there. You need to get in there and work those videos. And this study session that we do with me and Fred here is a complete preparation package. Your effort to utilize these tools is on you. I can only present and help you get it there, but in the game, you have to perform. And you don't perform highly with half-assed approach. If you don't know something, you go find out what the answer is. And for year after year after year, I've always said this. Don't study what you already know. Study what you don't know. And in times in the game, you was, oh, shit, that's what they mean. It'll come to you eventually, but you can't go in there half-cocked on a whim. You got A talent with C effort. We don't want that. I'd rather have the C talent guy who has A effort. That's what I want. If you try hard, all of you together, this weakness that we have in experience is not going to be a factor. But we can go half-ass with that many new people. We're going to have some shit shows out there. So it's incredibly important that these sessions we have with me and Fred here, we don't take it lightly. You guys did pretty good on the polls question this time. I was impressed that we were as high as we were, because in the years past it was never that high. Maybe we finally getting through some of you guys. But it's taken years, hasn't it? It didn't happen right away. But now we seem to be getting better at it for the better folks, which is good. So your expectation for you guys is to make sure the younger officials are not confused or like their confidence is down because it's so new. Help these people to feel comfortable. They're part of the crew. And the weakest guy is how weak we are. They don't look at our strongest guy. They look at our weakest guy. The weakest guy needs to be good too. That's all I have. Madam Secretary, you have anything?
Hey, Mr. Seminet, I'm sorry
Yes.
for interrupting.
Right.
I just got an email that Mr. Kelly has passed away, and I just wanted to let the group know. So, yeah, it just happened just now. Mr. Kelly from the SWAC has passed away.
Yeah, I was aware of that. I was remiss in making that comment early on. Yeah, he passed away this morning. I think around 11 o'clock.
Eddie Kelly?
Eddie Kelly, yes. The SWAC coordinator. Been around a long time. Good guy. We just saw him in this past weekend in Birmingham. In what's the day? Wednesday? Thursday? Yeah, we saw him last week, last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday kind of thing. So he's a good guy. He's going to be missed by a lot of folks. He's a good friend of mine. Anybody else got anything? So, Breer Home, what kind of headpiece you got on there, man? What you doing? Are you in the mosque?
Yes, sir. I'm a Muslim.
Okay, see now you got the other picture. You got your Saturday night costume on right now. That's good. All right, I see two pictures of you. One with the headpiece, and then another one with the suit.
Yeah, I want to make sure I stay on. I don't want to have no drop off.
Say again.
I just try to make sure I don't drop off.
Okay, that's good. Okay, anybody got any questions? Anything else? Oh, I got another announcement. For whatever reason, we have 3 games next year, maybe 4. 3 I can remember. We got to go to Rochester, New York again. We're going to Detroit, Michigan at the Ford Center, Ford Field. And there's a game in Puerto Rico. I think Kentucky State's playing somebody in Puerto Rico. So somebody's going to go to Puerto Rico. Now, how I see it, I'm off the script here a little bit. There's no game bigger than another one in our league. If it's Lane and Kentucky State or Tuskegee against Savannah State, all of the games to me are the same. Now, some teams are better than another team. That is true. But as far as who's watching the game, which is us, I don't care who's playing. Our performance has to be the same, no matter who's playing. The 2 weakest teams can be playing, or the 2 best teams can be playing. Our performance has to be the same. So whether it's a TV game, a game out of the area, you're going to an NFL stadium, Ford Field, or you're going to Puerto Rico, whatever it is, those are exciting moments that you can live and cherish in your officiating career. But the game is why you're there. The game is why we're trying to prepare for. So it doesn't matter where we go or who's playing. You have to be good no matter who's playing, no matter where you go. In these TV games, I'll talk more about it later on. It's just another opportunity for more people to watch the game. The players are going to play the game. The coaches are going to coach it. You're going to officiate. It is no matter who's watching it. One person or 100,000 people watching it, your performance will be the same. So when you get your game assignments at some point in the future, I hope to do crews. I'm gonna do crews. I'm gonna let this sit a little bit. I kind of decided, but I'm gonna probably wait until June 1st or something like that to put the crews out there. But whatever it is, you get together as a crew, you work the games, no matter who's playing. It's the same intensity, the same preparation, and the same effectiveness to be good. I ain't saying be perfect. You're gonna make mistakes, but we cannot afford train wrecks. And a train wreck for you new folks is when we have screwed up the game so bad in timing where the team can't recover from it. We do something bad in the last minute or so where they can't recover, it's going to be a train wreck. The same mistake in the first quarter may not make so much difference. They got a long time to recover from it. But we do something wrong. Bad penalty enforcement, bad calls or no calls, something that they would have gotten or shouldn't have been taken away from them is our fault, and they can't recover. In my view, that's a train wreck. I've been doing this a long time now. I can only count on like maybe 2 train wrecks. And we had 1 or 2 train wrecks in the SIC within the last 5 years. It happens. We need to avoid the train wrecks. You don't have to be perfect, but you can be good. And we don't want any train wrecks. Train wrecks is because we lost focus. We didn't work as a crew. We didn't do something we were taught. We didn't execute enforcement. Philosophy was shabby. We teach you what we want, what we don't want, and we don't come together to help each other. That's when train wrecks happen. But you got to go in there with confidence. But you can't be afraid to make a mistake. You're going to make mistakes, but you cannot be afraid to make a mistake. You make a mistake full speed, I'm with you. You do a half-ass mistake, we got problems. Same as the player. The player can not get his block at the end of the game when he should, and the quarterback gets sacked. You know, he's disappointed that he missed his block. Well, you know, he's a human being too. He's going to make mistakes. So will we. But we cannot make mistakes on things that we can't control. These penalty enforcements and philosophies is your foundation. And that would minimize those kinds of mistakes. Anybody got anything else?
No, that's it, sir. You went over.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Madam Secretary. All right, guys. See you next week. Goodbye.
See you next week, guys. Have a good Memorial Day.
She cut me off, didn't she?
Thank you.
You as well. Y'all take care.
Everybody have a good